Well, hello there, my young friends. It's Mr. Johnson coming to you here from Classroom 408 here at Westlake High School, trying to do a little Hamlet. We are beginning the study of Hamlet in your class. This will take us 3-ish weeks to work our way through the play. I'm going to work extremely hard to try to make this play both interesting, entertaining, and relevant to you. I know how young people sometimes feel about Shakespeare, but I really feel like this play is worthy of your time. And I'm going to put a lot of energy into getting it to you, presenting it to you in such a way that both hopefully isn't dreadful and painful, but also somewhat enjoyable. At least that's my goal. And I guess your attitude toward the material will have as much to do with that as anything. It will be very useful for you to be in class on days that we study Hamlet. It's a very difficult thing to read on your own. It won't be so difficult if you're able to be both physically and mentally with me in this classroom. But I want to create these videos for two reasons. First of all, for those of you who aren't in class on any day that you aren't in class when we study, I highly recommend that not just you, at that point you'll have to read that scene or those scenes on your own, but not only that you try to read the scenes, but you use the summaries that I've sent you with this video, and watch this video. And for each section that we read, I'll present you with a video that's a shortened version. It won't be every single thing I presented in class, obviously, but it will be a way for you to hopefully get what you miss on days that you're not here. Also, I think this is a useful video for you if you were here, just to go back over what we read and studied that day. I know to be in class for 30 plus minutes, I'll try to keep even the study of it in class, not the full 47 minutes of class. But even if you've been in class, sometimes your mind can drift. You might miss details in these videos, which will be obviously shorter than a full class period and whatnot, can be useful to you in just reviewing and knowing what it is that you've read. I will be presenting the markings in this video that I present in class, and during the classes we study, we go through the script. I'll have you marking very specific lines that will help you kind of explain the plot, understand the plot. I'll be giving you suggested annotations, things for you to write down. All of these things I'll be grading at the end of Hamlet when I pick up your books from you. I won't be going as slowly on this video as I would be in class, giving you the time to mark. I'll tell you the lines, and you can mark them if you're watching this video, if it's your first time to be exposed to material. But you have the benefit of the pause button. You can pause it and mark your lines. You could back things up if I went too fast or if you missed something. So it won't be like in class where I'll be just waiting and trying to make sure that you get the markings that you need. Hopefully, the video can both help you if you weren't here as we read, and be useful to you if you were here and just need a good review. And I'm going to put some energy into it and hope that it's useful to you. That being said, let's start on page 1. We're in Act 1, Scene 1. It begins at the castle where the sentries, the guards, are standing watch late one night. Francisco and Bernardo are there. They have heard a noise. It ends up being Horatio and Marcellus. Over on page 2. On the third line of the page, there's 3 lines to mark. What has this thing appeared again tonight? I've seen nothing. Horatio says it is but our fantasy. These gentlemen have, on previous nights, they claimed that they have seen a ghost. And Horatio thinks that's ridiculous. He tells them that's their imagination, that's their fantasy. You guys have not seen a ghost. While they're talking, and Horatio's saying it's not going to appear, the ghost actually does appear. At the bottom of page 2, 2 lines underneath enter ghost. I suggest that you mark those 3 lines. In the same figure like the king that's dead, thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio. Looks it not like the king, mark it, Horatio. Horatio has told them the last 2 nights that they haven't seen a ghost, and then right then, there comes the ghost. Floating out across the stage. This is a play that we're reading at the castle, and Horatio now believes him it is a ghost. In fact, at the very top of the next page, a line worth marking is Horatio saying, "Speak, speak, I charge thee, speak." One thing that's happening here is these other guards, these other sentries, have been pushing Horatio out to try to talk to the ghost. And here's the reason why. This is useful for you to know in dealing with ghosts in the supernatural world anyway during Shakespeare's time. During Shakespeare's time, people had no trouble believing in the supernatural world. They believed that spirits were very much among them. They believe in ghosts and things like that. from what we can tell from the literature. In fact, if you've done the study of Macbeth, you know the ghost of Banquo is important. You've done the study of Julius Caesar, you know the ghost of Caesar is important. Shakespeare loved to use ghosts in these plays. Here, the ghost of their recently deceased king, which is in essence our main character's father, King Hamlet, Hamlet Sr., has appeared the last couple of nights, and they see him now. The reason they are trying to get Horatio to speak to it is the belief at the time is if you entertain a spirit, if you speak with, if you communicate with a spirit, you're in danger in two different ways. One, you could very possibly lose your soul. It could be an evil spirit trying to trap you into something and taking you to hell eventually. Or the time that you're on earth, you could lose your mind. You could lose your sanity. If you communicate with a spirit, you could go mad. You can go insane. So these other guards aren't very ready to go out and speak to the ghost. They keep telling Horatio, speak to the ghost. Horatio is quote unquote more educated. He's been to university and whatnot, and they're hoping that he'll risk himself to speak to the ghost. And Horatio is begging the ghost, speak. If this is the third night in a row you've been here, if in fact it is, surely you've got something to say to us. The ghost does not speak. It exits the stage at that point. On page 3, the soldiers, in essence, these guys standing watch are all military, begin to talk to Horatio. They're having conversations about whether or not they are going to war soon. I suggest that down toward the bottom of the page where Marcellus is speaking, the 7 lines he speaks beginning with good now. Good now, sit down, tell me, he that knows why the same strict and most observant watch, so nightly toils the subject of the land, why such daily casts of brazen cannon, foreign mart of implements of war, why such impressive shipwrights, whose sore task does not divide the Sunday from the week. I think those are all lines worth marking. And basically, if you wanted to annotate something out to the side, basically the idea that they fear they're going back to war. They're afraid. They wonder if they will be fighting soon. Why are we putting together cannons? We're not even taking breaks on Sunday. We're building ships. What's up with this Horatio? And Horatio, who is Hamlet's best friend, so he's kind of up in the king's court and whatnot, kind of does know about this. And he responds to them over on page 4. If you were in class, you would get these names, and I will give them in class. I've given them in class. They're important for you to know. I highly suggest you get those from someone who was in class, have them send you a picture of it and whatnot. It's very useful for your notes in your book to annotate that. These notes, these names are kind of given or being talked about on page 4. If you look on page 4, down almost the halfway point of the page where it says his fell to Hamlet, I would suggest you mark 10 lines. His fell to Hamlet. Now, Sir young Fortinbras of unimproved metal, hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway here and there shorked up a list of lawless resolutes for food and diet some enterprise that hath a stomach in it, which is no other as it doth well appear unto our state, but to recover of us by strong hand terms compulsatory those foresaid lands, so by his father lost, and this I take it. Those 10 lines seems a little blah blah blah. Basically what's talking about here is while our play takes place in Denmark, and these are names that are useful for you to know that I have up on the board during class, here in Denmark, King Hamlet has recently died. Over in Norway, King Fortinbras died some years ago. In fact, Hamlet defeated him and killed him. In Denmark, we have young Hamlet. He's the son of the king. In Norway, there's also a son of a king, and he's called young Fortinbras. These gentlemen were to maybe be in line for the throne, but in both Norway and Denmark, what has happened here is the brother has assumed the throne. In Norway, there's the brother to the dead king is now assumed the kingship. In Denmark, as we know from our introduction to Hamlet, Hamlet did not succeed to the throne. The king's brother, the dead king's brother, Claudius, has taken the throne. All that's being talked about here is that young Fortinbras, basically the equivalent to Hamlet in Norway, has been threatening to come and attack, and he wants to take back the lands that King Hamlet took from his father. So this is all just kind of background. I know it's a lot of names I'm throwing at you, but again, if you get those notes, get those names, Denmark versus Norway, from someone who's in class, you would find that very helpful to you. And it's legitimate that these soldiers are fearful that they will be going to war soon, because if this young guy is threatening to come and try to get back all the land that his father lost years ago in war, then they will be, in fact, fighting soon. While they're having this conversation, look over on page 5. There's a line that you already have marked. When you come across one of these that you've marked, I gave you 50 lines for the first 3 acts to mark in yellow. I suggest in yellow so you know that these are all, quote, questions possibly for the test. For all these lines, you'll either need to just know exactly who said it, who the speaker was, or maybe even be able to discuss it when it comes test time. Why is it important? What's it talking about? Who are they maybe talking to in context of the story? I will tell you as we come across these lines whether it's something you need to just know the speaker of or whether it's something you might have to be able to discuss. When you see on page 5, right after enter ghost, I'll cross it, though it blasphemy, stay illusion. This word is spoken by Horatio. For test purposes, you'll only need to know who said that line. It's spoken by Horatio. You saw him begin that speech over on page 4, and he's still talking when the ghost comes in on page 5. When he says, I'll cross it, though it blasphemy, stay illusion, again, your footnote tells you that he says he will confront it. Often when you see this portrayed on the stage, Horatio is even saying, I'll cross it, as he steps up to it, saying a quick little prayer even, the sign of the cross, so as to kind of protect his soul. Again, the idea that you could lose your soul or you could lose your mind if you speak to a spirit. That's what Horatio is dealing with. You won't have to discuss that necessarily on the test, but it's useful to know that it's a very serious thing as far as the spiritual world and whatnot. In that speech on page 5, he just he stands there and just begs, speak to me, speak to me, speak to me. He wants this ghost to speak and tell them why it is that he's even here. The ghost is not willing to do so. It's clear that the 3 nights that he's been here, he hasn't spoken to any of them. He's not there to see him. If in fact it is the dead king, King Hamlet, it is very likely that he's there to talk to Hamlet. So here at the end of the scene over on page 6, these gentlemen conclude, if you look down toward the bottom, 3, 4, 5, 7 lines from the bottom, beginning with let us impart, I would mark 3 lines. Let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet, for upon my life, the spirit dumb to us will speak to him. Dumb in this context means unable to talk or unwilling to talk. This ghost is not here to speak to us. Let's get Hamlet and tell him about what's happening, get him out here with us. If the ghost sees him, then maybe he will communicate with him. That, my friends, is the end of scene 1. These guards standing watch at the castle and coming across and seeing the ghost of the dead king. Hopefully that's useful to you going forward in the study of this play. It is my hope, it is my sincere desire that all these videos, one way or the other, can be useful to you, whether you're not in class or whether you're actually in class and just need a review. Thanks very much for watching and for listening. I hope it's useful. Okay, bye.